You work harder for your boss than you work for yourself, and you think that it's normal. It's not, because you show up at work on time, you deliver at the deadlines, you also stay longer if it requires to, and you're the kind of person every manager wants in their company. But when you get home, where you have time for your project, your family, your ideas, your business you're gonna build up, it only gets what's left over of you. And right now, there are millions of people out there that are giving their best hours to someone else's company, to someone else's dream, while their business, while their project getting the worst hours of their life. And then they're surprised because nothing is growing. And I also did this for years. And here's what changed. The thing you're trying to build, for example, a project, gets the worst hours of your life, as I mentioned. And if you go to a job, you give the best hours of your life, you push through it, you give all your energy to that. But when you come home, nothing is even left. You're tired, you're unmotivated, you just want to eat and scroll on your phone. And that's the hours where you have your dream, where your dream is built, where your business is built. And that's not something you did on purpose. That's something that just showed up. Because if you don't go to work, if you don't deliver, you get consequences. Because the job has consequences attached to it. For example, if you don't show up, you lose income. If you miss the deadline, you'll get consequences from your manager. So the external accountability from the job, from the employer, is so loud and so noticeable that you get immediately punished for it if you don't do something that you're not supposed to do. But from your own project, if you don't upload the video, if you don't post the post, if you don't make that story on Instagram, nobody's gonna notice it, and the world is gonna continue as it is because you don't have consequences attached to it. Yet we're gonna come to that. And that's the trap. And it's not laziness, and it's also not the lack of motivation. It's the difference between you will get consequences now and something that will free up your life later. And your boss also gets the version of yourself that shows up regardless how it feels, because she needs to show up at 8 o'clock in the morning. And your dream just gets the motivation when the motivation happens to come. Then you work on your project. And that's the difference. So I want to tell you what it looked like over years, and not in some sudden moment, just continuously over years and years. The project that is going to change your life stays the same for months. The channel you're trying to grow stays at the same subscriber count. And the business you wanted to start stays in the Notes app with the different ideas you have for that business. And you're still reliable at your job. You are still showing up. And you are still the person that the manager depends on, that the company depends on, because you're the best working employee at that company. And while your dreams, while your business, your channel, whatever, because that was somehow the project of your life that will get you out of the 9 to 5. But now it becomes way harder to believe in, because there's a specific kind of damage you do to yourself that you don't go further. Because if you say something that you're gonna do, but you don't gonna do, for example, you make a video in the evening, but you don't make videos in the evening, you're damaging your self-trust, you're damaging your words, your own belief, that your mind thinks that if you say something, yeah, it doesn't count because you're not gonna do it. And that's the point of damage that you're doing every day, and nobody cares about that. And that damage is more expensive than your salary that you become every month. Because imagine 5 years from now, you're sitting at the same job, at the same position, and you think about the project you someday dreamed about that you're gonna do, that was yours. It's just an imagination now because you completely ignored it, you completely destroyed your own dreams because you cannot trust yourself with your own words anymore. And here's the question that sits underneath all that you need to answer yourself, and not what you should do differently, and not what system or routine you should imply into your own life now. Because the question is way simpler. It's this: why does the person that shows up for your employee doesn't show up for yourself? And not because you don't care, and not because you don't think that it's possible, because every day you show up at your work, you don't believe that you have to have the same standards on your dream. So you forget about your dream and you don't believe anymore in your dream, because why should you show up every day for your own dreams? Because you showed up in the morning at your employee. So why should you show up in the evening? That doesn't matter, right? And that's wrong, because until that belief exists, until you don't change your belief that your dreams have to be serious, that you have to take your dreams seriously like your employee, nothing is gonna change. And it's not that you're not capable of doing that. It's that you're waiting for your dream to get the seriousness, to get the validation that it's worth showing up every day. And let me tell you something, that the time is running and nobody's coming to save you, and nobody's gonna show up to you and tell yourself, bro, how is your business doing? Is it growing or something? Because nobody will tell you this, that it's on you, that it's not on someone else's, that you need to rely on yourself, that you have to build first your self-trust, and then if you trust yourself, if you trust with your words, you will achieve something. You will get the same seriousness as in the morning at your job, just for your own dreams. And urgency for your own dreams doesn't show up from the outside, it shows from the inside. The moment you decide that it's like in the morning when you show up at work at 8 o'clock, it's a non-negotiable. You need to think the same for your own dreams, that it's a non-negotiable. So you need to do the things in the evening, even if you don't feel like it, even if you don't have the energy. You just need to show up every day. And not when motivation arrives, not when time gets better, not when things are sorted. You need to do it now, like with the same energy, like in the morning you just gave to your employee. So you have what it takes, and it's now on you if you put the energy at your employee or at your own dreams. So if you want to see how I gave my energy from the job to my dreams, you can click this video, or YouTube and I recommend you this video because it is fitted to you. As for that, thank you for watching, and I'm rooting for you.